Thank you. My name is John F. Hobbs from Lee Summit, Missouri. I'm a longstanding survivor of childhood sexual abuse by a former doctor, community leader, and now convicted felon named Joseph T. Mackey. I've abused roughly from age 14 to 25 and have had a hell of a road to move forward in life. I think what would be best for me, because certainly I can talk details, I'm not hard to find, you can look me up on social media, certainly don't mince words in my opinions about some of these issues, but I'm in a place where I'm kind of 3 steps ahead of where this is, and I think it's important for people in the state of Missouri and nationally to understand this. And I say this in a way that, you know, it's a sad statement to have to say, but there's nobody more passionate about statute of limitations issues than myself. And I'm testifying obviously in support of Senate Bill 589 and 590, but very specifically on the statute of limitations. And with all due respect to the defectors here in the insurance side, there's so many different things that can come up and happen when people don't do the wrong thing. So in my personal situation, basically my abuser took the law into his own hands, forced me out of a statute of limitation, essentially, including with a Boy Scouts of America organization. I'm not going to get a lot of details about that. But what I'm really trying to say here is that the reason that we have to move this into law, and I would challenge you that we don't have to come here year after year to sit here and talk about this. I mean, get into Governor Kehoe's office, say this has to be signed today. I mean, that's what I'm going to challenge every one of you. I challenge Attorney General Bailey, because enough is enough. And so, with that being said, I'm one of about 80,000 survivors on the national bankruptcy. Certainly you've heard about the Boy Scouts of America. The issues that have been created just out of that fraud, okay, are horrible. And they've well surpassed civil issues. Oh, hey, we're not going to pay for this. We're way beyond that. We're talking about criminal indictments that should be happening against a lot of people. There's a major appeal at the Third Circuit Court of Appeals that could come down any day now to address this in a lot of ways, okay? If you're not familiar with the Purdue Pharma Sackler opinion, they clarified that when they filed this, they knew that this wasn't going to be allowed to squeak through and whatnot. And this is about pursuing justice for survivors short and long term, okay? And so, to sit here and listen to some of these comments, and I appreciate, and I know I'm preaching to the choir to some extent here too, and I appreciate the pushback by Senator, I don't remember your name. Great, yeah, I love it. So, thank you. But when people double and triple down on this stuff, it's horrible, and the impact it's had on my life, and this, it's very difficult. But this is not about cost prohibitive or affordable insurance, or this is about holding institutions accountable. And at the end of the day, that's what this will do. This will force institutions to be more forthright and not hide things that they knew about what was going on, like in my situation, or all these other peripheral things that have come out and potentially going to be out in the open. So again, I just think it's important to refine and understand what not doing the right thing here will lead to, because it's potentially going to lead to a lot more than just civil concerns for people. And if I have anything to do with it, and I'm working on that, that's what's going to happen out of the Department of Justice sooner than later. And the Boy Scouts specifically, and the Kanakuk here in the state of Missouri, is going to be that driver to say, hey, we're not doing this anymore. And I really appreciate Ms. Robb and Ms. Carlock Phillips, and I do just want to say one other thing here too, is that I want to make sure you reference the testimony provide in writing by the surviving mom of Danny Shore. Just Google that name.
Well, you can leave that in.
Sure, yeah,
make sure
yeah.
that the committee
And I
gets
think
that.
that's been passed along. But, she, put stuff in here, like, and he went on to abuse more people and then got caught later. But, this is Giselle's mom and sister speaking. In Danny's case, his abuser threatened to kill me and Danny if he told anyone. Survivors don't stay silent by choice. They stay quiet because trauma traps them. Abuse mixes affection with fear, confusing, all these kind of things. And
We'll get that to the rest of the committee, but
Sure.
Unfortunately your time has expired.
Okay, sure.
I'll open it up to any questions. Saying none.
Okay. Again, I appreciate it. And again, I just think it's so important that people understand what this leads to long term when things aren't done the right way and that kind of thing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.